So before I begin, we're going to be together for the next 2 hours, 120 minutes together. If you don't know the people around you, just take a couple of seconds to turn around, introduce yourself, say what your name is, because you're going to be working with these people. You better know who they are. So do another minute. Just turn around, say hi, talk to people. It is always nice to know people that you work with on the same campus. You pass each other, you've been waiting to say hi. It's always good to share your names and information. So you're going to need a couple of things for our workshop today. One thing you're going to need is a pen. Okay. The other thing you're going to need is your phone. Okay. So your pen and your phone, your brain, smile on your face. Those are all the things that you're going to need today. All right. So I'm going to see how it's a little bit difficult doing a workshop right after lunch. Okay? And if you've ever been to any of my workshops before, I always say, why do we have to do workshops right after lunch? Or why do we have to teach a class right after lunch? Everybody knows about those classes right after lunch. Show me your faces of your students right after lunch. What do your students? Exactly. Exactly. So, and we all have been there. We all know it. We've either been the student after lunch or we've been the teacher after lunch, and it's pretty much one of the worst times to teach, right? So here we are, a workshop right after lunch. And the thing is, you guys are suffering what's called PND. Everybody suffers from this after we have a big meal. And P means post, which means after, nutritional, so the food, and depression. So if you're suffering from PND, what can we do to do something about it? You have to sort of activate yourself. So I'm hoping that we can be active enough and none of you will be suffering too strongly from PND this afternoon. All right? So if you are, everybody just take a deep breath. Get some oxygen through up to your brain. Get ready. All right, do a little bit of a stretch. And then I'm going to ask you with your enthusiasm, I'm going to say, are you ready? And you're going to answer enthusiastically with, yes, we are. Okay? To show me that you're not suffering from PND too badly. All right? So I'm going to say, are you ready? And you're going to say, yes, we are. Enthusiastically. All right? If it doesn't work, we're going to try it again. So all right. So 1, 2, 3. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yes, we are. That's all. Pretty good. I am enthusiastic about this. Good. One more time. Are you ready?
Yes, we are.
All right. Let's get started. So I want you to think, this whole title is called Formative Assessment. And you've been teaching or you've been in education for a long time, and you know this has been a big buzzword in education for years and years and years. And maybe you use it, maybe you know a little bit about it, maybe you know a lot about it. I just want to know right now where we are at the beginning of this workshop, what word or words comes to mind when you hear the word formative assessment. All right, what comes to mind? Maybe nothing comes to mind, and you can write the word nothing. All right, so what comes to mind when you hear the word formative assessment? And I'm going to ask you to scan this QR code with your phones, and on this, it's going to be a word cloud. I just want to see what words are going through your head right now when we hear about formative assessment. So let me know when you scan that, and then we'll start seeing the words come in. Okay, so these are the words. If, as you know, for the word cloud, the bigger the word, that means more people have written that word. Nope. I like this one. Nope. survey, systematic judgment, exam presentation, tired. Okay. I think we're still talking about PMD here. Okay. Little by little. Yes, I like that. No, lots of you are saying nothing. Okay. I asked this question again in 2 hours. I hope we don't get an open nothing on there. All right. So formative assessment. Assessment is learning. I really like that one up here. Test. Of course, assessment is just a fancy word for test. All right. Judgment. I think maybe we'll change that one after we talk a little bit about formative assessment today. We might change it from judgment. Progress based, definitely. Adding up, so each step by step. Surveys is one thing. Low stakes. That means you're not gonna low stakes and high stakes. If something's low stakes, you're not gonna lose a lot if you don't do well. If it's high stakes, you have a lot to lose. That's a big thing. So it is low stakes. These are some great words here. Exams, assessment, testing, quizzes, all of those mean the same thing. So we're testing knowledge here. All right, so formative assessment, we have some varied ideas here. So we're going to talk about formative assessment today. Thank you. We're going to talk, by the end of this, you should be able to know about what the purpose and importance of formative assessment is. So the purpose, why do we do it? And importance, why is it so important in your classrooms? And how to do it. Okay, so if you know why it's important and how to do it, then I feel very confident that you actually will do it in your classes if you're not already. And if you already are using formative assessment, then I hope that after today, you'll gain some other ways to do it. So you'll have a big variety by the time we get done. All right. So maybe this happened to you as a student. Think back to your student days. Or maybe this has happened to you as a teacher with your students. You take a test, you study the whole semester, you study the whole quarter, you think you know everything, you take the test, and you get the test back, and you failed it. And you're like, what happened? What happened? I thought I was doing great in this class. And all of a sudden I failed this exam, or I didn't do well, or I got an F on something. It's shocking to you as a student. It's shocking to you as a teacher when you think, oh, all my students understand everything I'm teaching them. When I ask them, do you understand? What does a student automatically do when you ask the question, do you understand? What happens to their head? And everybody's nodding, yes, I understand. And you think as the teacher, well, I certainly did a great job. They all understand. They just told me yes. And then you get the exams back, and you're like, "Ooh, holy moly! Not all of my students passed. What happened?" Right? So this is what we're talking about right here. If your students only find out, or if you only find out after the exam that you didn't pass it, what can you do about it? What do you do? What can you do? Can you do anything about it? What are your options? You can take the course again. Yeah, you can take the course again. You can change your major. You can, I don't know what you can do. So basically what this is it's too late. It's too late. Right? So this is what we're trying to avoid. We don't want it for the professors, and we don't want it for our students. We don't want them to find out afterwards, oh, sorry, you failed. Okay. We want to ensure success. Because how do we measure our success as professors, as teachers? We measure our success by our students' success. Okay, so if our students are not successful, then actually we're also not successful. Right? Kind of important. All right. So too late. Yeah. So I have a couple of sayings here. See if this makes sense to you. I don't speak any Chinese, so I can't translate it for you. But 20/20 vision is perfect. Okay, so 20/20 vision is what they say when you can see perfectly. Okay. but it's not perfect. It's not when the test is over. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you have 20/20 vision after the eye test. So it doesn't work after the test. And see if this one makes any sense to you. See if you can figure out what the two missing words are. Change almost never fails because it's too. It almost always fails because it's too. Okay, so it almost always fails because it's too late. So what's the other one going to be? What's the opposite of late? Early. So change almost never fails because it's too early. So make sure you kind of understand that. Okay. But it almost always fails because it's too late. Okay, so this is exactly what we're talking about with formative assessment today. Before we move on, any questions? Are you excited? I don't know about that. Okay. So we have the two types of assessment, formative, which is what we're talking about today, and summative. Summative we are all very, 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 very familiar with. All right. So summative, if you think of the word summary, or the sum of a math problem, that's the end part, right? That's the total. So if you think of that, so summative assessment measures what students have learned, okay? At the end of course, at the end of the semester. What is the main purpose of summative assessment? To evaluate, to judge. When does it happen? It happens after instruction. Some examples: final exams, end of term projects or presentations, standardized tests, midterm exams, final papers, and reports. And it determines, they're necessary, they're important, they're what we use in education, right? Because they determine how well students have achieved your learning goals. So at the beginning of the semester, we have all of those outcomes, those learning goals. And at the end of the semester, we test, did we reach those goals? Super important, absolutely necessary. But what we're talking about is when they do that, then the course is over. So we need to do something during that time. And that's where formative assessment comes in. Okay? So formative assessment. I think that having the name assessment in there already sort of scares people anyway, because we think assessment test. Well, formative assessment is just a variety of different methods. Just so many different things you can do just to check your students' comprehension, their understanding. Okay? You can use it to check out their learning needs. What else do they need to make them successful? But it's during a lesson, in progress, during a unit, during your course. And it's nothing super formal at all. Super easy little checks. Okay? So formative assessing is an ongoing process. So think of it in progress throughout the semester. Okay? It gives you evidence of learning. And when you see that they're not learning, you can adapt your teaching so that they do get it. Because remember, a successful teacher is only as successful as their students. Right? Okay, so you can change your teaching in action so that your students can be successful. Okay? It's a tool for improving teaching learning process. Okay? It helps both students and educators make better educational decisions. Okay? It can be formal and informal. Okay? It's done during the learning process. Modify teaching and learning. You can modify your teaching and learning. So all of these are basically saying the same thing over and over again. But I really want you to have a clear thing in your mind. What is formative? What is summative? Because we all already do summative all the time. You gather the evidence here from your students. Somehow you gather some evidence. Okay. You provide quick feedback. So you find that your students are doing something, you have to provide some sort of feedback like, oh, that's not quite the right answer. Let's find out what the right answer is. You have to give them some sort of feedback, or they have to get feedback from somewhere in the middle of your semester, in the middle of the course while it's still going on, so that they can correct it before it's over with. Okay? You can use informal or formal tools. I'm all about informal. Quick, informal, right here, so that it's not more work for you. Okay, so you check your students' understanding instead of saying, do you understand? Every student in the world is going to say, okay. And they don't mean, they're just saying that like, that's what I'm supposed to say. And it helps you adapt your teaching. Right? So I think everybody's got a pretty clear idea here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. I'm going to, would you mind passing these out to like the 10 of those? So they have 11 groups. So maybe one group could be like 3. Okay. So I'm using a little formative assessment thing right here. These are little homemade, very easy. This is a whiteboard. This is a teacher's whiteboard, okay? Oh, so keep the paper inside. Take the marker out. Take the marker out. Take the tissue out. This is now your whiteboard. You can write on this and hold it up. And it didn't cost very much at all. And this way, so this is a type of formative assessment because you all have to hold these up. And I can see, and in my head I can calculate, oh, they don't have it, okay? So with your partner, okay, everybody's got some partners. You know your partner's names? Make sure you know your partner's names. You're working as a team here. So what I would like for you to do is look at all of these words around here, and we're talking about this square right here. All right? So this is about formative and summative. We've just talked about it for 10 minutes. So which of these words around here should go in the timing for formative? So you or your partner, one of you write the answer on your whiteboard and you hold it up to me. Which of those surrounding words should go right here? Right on your whiteboard. All right, are you ready to see the first? Everybody can just hold their answer up. Just look at first one. Okay, maybe. Okay, let's see. Hold your thing. You only need to do one box right now. I'll let you do the other boxes in a minute. I just want to. So I'm looking around and I'm thinking, oh, not everybody's quite got it. So maybe my explanation wasn't very good. Okay, so thumbs up if your group got it right. Yes. All right. If your group didn't get it right, so this is your own feedback right now. You're like, oh, okay, I didn't quite get that right. So you can do your own feedback. I didn't have to give you feedback on everything. You can see it there. Your students don't need it from you all the time. They can get it other ways. All right, so very quickly, just fill in the rest of these with your partner. I like the way that you did it here. They made their own little chart here. And they're going to fill it in. So very quickly with you and your partners, fill in the rest of this and we'll check your answers. You only have about 30 seconds. So choose your fastest writer to do this. So everything we do today is an example of formative assessment. Okay, so I've given you a table here. Think of all the tables that you give your students. If you give your students a table with all the answers already in it, they just kind of look at it, right? They don't have to do much. You guys had to do something. Do you see how this is a little bit more? And then I can look at yours and say, oh, they don't have it right. Then I understand. And we could talk about it a little bit. So everything we do in this workshop today is an example of some formative assessment. Do you feel that it's a little bit more engaging than looking at the table? Did you talk to your partners? Did you think about it more? That if I had just given you all the answers here, you wouldn't be thinking about it so much. Let's check your answers. Let's see how you did. All right, let's see. Good so far? Okay, so yeah, summatives at the end, right? What's the reason? Why do we do formative? To improve and guide learning. I'm going to find out right now, okay, they don't know about this, they don't know about that, I've got to talk about it some more. And why do we do summative? Judge. Okay. So feedback, when do you get the feedback about how you're doing? Well, with formative, it's immediate and it's ongoing. So you're going to find out right now, oh, I don't know all of this right now. I need to change something. Okay? And of course, summative, and we've all experienced this. Sometimes the professors or teachers or myself have given feedback back to the students 3 weeks after the test. What are they going to do with that? Well, they're going to look at it and say, oh, thanks. All right. So, tell your partners thank you, but you're going to be doing a lot more work. The little tissue in there is your eraser. Aren't those fun? So they have what we call the soup metaphor, and I love metaphors. So we have the chef tasting the soup. Okay. He's cooking, he's tasting the soup when he's cooking it. And we also have the people in the restaurant eating the soup. Which would you call formative assessment? Which would you call summative assessment? Turn to your partner, ask your partners. If this was a metaphor for formative and summative assessment, which one would be which? So, when I say formative, if you think it's the picture on the left, everybody's going to point to the left. If you think it's the picture on the right, everybody's going to point to the right. Okay? So this is another way I can see what you think. Talk to each other. Now I'm just going to physically look at you and see. All right, so which one, if these were metaphors about formative and summative assessment, would you think is formative? Show me with your hands. Oh, and see, I feel successful as a teacher. Yes, yes. Woohoo! All right, good job. So, and now I know everybody will get this one right. Which one would you think is summative? Good job. Really good job. Okay. Okay. And if you think about it, isn't it crazy? I mean, who's going to serve all these people a wonderful soup if you don't taste it first? It's a little bit late then if it tastes bad, right? If you accidentally got the salt and the sugar mixed up in your soup, you would only find out then it's too late. This is exactly a great metaphor for formative and summative. Exciting. Okay. But let's think about it. For those of you who are, I don't know if you've ever done personality dimensions, but they give all these basic personality types, different colors. And if you are a green personality type, that means you always have to know why. Show me why. Why should I do this? So we might have some green people in here. We're at a technology and science school. I know we have a lot of greens in here. So, okay. Proven impact. Okay, this is for all the green personalities out here. Why do we have to do this? Show me why. Okay. It boosts academic achievement. Okay, I like that idea. It strengthens self-regulated learning and goal awareness. Self-regulation of your students. It's not always you, the professor, always telling them what they have to do. It's not always you, the mom, telling them you have to do it. They take on some of the responsibility. Okay? Because you just saw right there when you did that table, oh, I didn't know all the answers. I need to do something about it. So they know what they don't know. And it promotes educational equity by tailoring instruction. So you're going to change your instruction. Some of these people in the class didn't get it. So I have to change my instruction. Instead of before, when we only did summative assessment, we just did one class fits all. Too bad for those who didn't get it. Okay? So now we're trying to tailor our lessons a little bit to let everybody be successful. Okay? And EMI. Our favorite 3 letters, right? Okay. It helps in your classrooms. It's so important in the EMI classroom, especially. Okay. Because it clarifies whether the problem that your students are facing, is it from your chemistry class, or is it because of the English part of it? Okay, so it can help you decide, okay, they just need more English input. They understand the concept, but they need more English input. Okay, or vice versa. Okay? And it's low stakes. Who cares, seriously, who cares if you wrote something wrong on this whiteboard? Nobody cares. Okay? Nobody cares. It's not a big deal. It's not embarrassing. You just take the tissue and wipe it off. It's low stakes. So, you have those shy students. They're sort of afraid to perform in front of other people. Anybody can do this. Who cares? I mean, it's just low stakes. And it helps you identify where scaffolding is necessary. And scaffolding is that support that you give your students until they can master a subject. Okay? And social emotional benefits. Okay, cognitive. It builds motivation and metacognition. Do everybody know about metacognition? If you're not sure about metacognition, it's this really important topic in education these days. Metacognition is you understanding how you learn best. So some of us, we all know how we learn best. When you learn a language, some people learn a language by making those flashcards over and over and over and over again. And I could make 1,000,000 flashcards and it wouldn't do a thing for me. Okay, so that is me. So everybody kind of knows how they learn best. This helps your students aware of how they learn best so that they can go find ways to help themselves. And isn't that great? Should it always be us helping our students? I mean, really, they have the whole internet, they have the whole world at their fingertips. We shouldn't have to be the provider of everything. They should be able to say, okay, I didn't get that. I know I don't understand it that way. Let me try a different way. Okay, so this helps them realize what they need to know. All right. And this one's very nice too. Confidence and motivation. Just with our little whiteboard example right there. Just with that little whiteboard example. If your group was correct, how did you feel? Like, yeah, that's motivation. So if you're motivated, you're excited to learn. Little things like that. I mean, this is a little low stakes, nothing, but all of you felt it when you were right. Like, oh, we were right. We like to be right. Okay, so, and it gives you confidence. And maybe one of you, I'm just going to use you as an example only. Maybe you didn't know the answer, but you did. Okay, so you feel very confident. Okay, so these are just tiny little things, but especially if any of you are parents out here, or if any of you are human beings out here. I guess everybody's a human being, right? So maybe I should use that example. We know just a little bit of confidence, a little bit of boosting goes a long way. All right? So think of all the times in your classroom where you can help boost your students. The more you do, the more confident they'll be. Stupid little thing, not stupid. Simple little things like this that goes a long way. All right. I already went that way. Let's go this way. But there's always a but. So we're all excited about this formative assessment, but it's only effective if you implement it correctly. Okay. So I haven't really been implementing it correctly here because I'm not doing that next part of it. Remember, you're supposed to implement it, find out where there's problems, and then adjust your teaching. You could do something about it. But I didn't see any problems, so I'm not adjusting anything. Okay, so what this means is it's this ongoing feedback thing. So remember, the feedback doesn't have to be from me. It could be from each other. It could be on their own. They see something that they're not quite getting correct. Okay. So they know that they have to do that, or maybe I have to change my instruction. So it just goes on and on and on. It's ongoing. It's not just a one and done thing. It's not one done finish. Okay, I did formative assessment yesterday. I don't have to do it anymore this semester. It's just an ongoing thing. Okay. So it's collecting the data. I find out what my students know, but it's using it. Okay. And if you do give feedback, it should be right then. Maybe you all talking to each other. Maybe from me, I put the right answers up here. Remember when I put the right answers up here? That's your feedback. Okay, that's timely. Right now, not in 3 weeks. All right? And the feedback loop, it turns assessment into a tool for growth. Instead of a judgmental thing, it's a tool for growth. I'm just going to have you look at that, think about that for a second. You're all very smart, intelligent people. I don't need to explain the feedback loop there. You just need to understand that it's continuous in your classrooms. Okay? Okay, so talking about this feedback, let's very quickly go through this. Okay. So you need to have clear goals. Your students need to know, well, what is it I need to learn this for? Why? Why am I doing this? What are my goals? What are the objectives? Okay? Okay, and the question they should ask is, where am I going? Where am I going with this information? Okay? And what can you do to show them where they're going? You can either show them the model of the correct answer. If you're having them write a paragraph, show them a paragraph of what the correct answer looks like. Somebody else's paragraph. You should contain these 4 points. Or you can have a rubric. Okay, and the student can self-assess. You've shown them a model, you've given them a rubric, they do it, they can check themselves. All right, that's one thing. Progress check, okay? The student asks themselves, well, how am I doing? Okay. The teacher can give targeted feedback. It doesn't always have to be from the teacher, though. The student, if done properly, should reflect on all of this. But the next step, this is important too. Assign and do follow-up tasks because of the feedback. Okay, something has to come from all this information if you find out that you're not being successful. Okay, and all the way through. So this is what I'm saying. It's sort of this like ongoing loop. It's just not a one-time, okay, get your whiteboards out, put them away. Use that information for a reason. Everything you do should have a purpose. Okay, any questions about this? I know you're all saying, no questions.
So yes. So we need to improve. So the students' role is they also need to improve.
Yes.
Revise and improve. Not only the teachers, but also the students.
Mostly the students. Okay, so for example, in this particular activity, let's say this was some table in theirs, the students will know, oh, okay, I don't know those steps. Okay, they need to review it, and then they need to try it again later, and then they know that they need to improve. So this is showing you what you, the student, know or don't know, as an example. Okay. Yeah.
So that's during the process of formative assessment.
Yes.
The students.
So students,
Not for next time, but for this time.
For this time, yeah, but
Next time.
They know where their gap is. They know what they don't know. So either you might change your instruction if like the whole class needs it. You might go over it, and if it's only 1 or 2, then the student thinks, I need to do that. Okay, so everybody's aware of where the gap is. And feedback. This is the most part I want to tell you right here. Because you think, oh, I already do so much work. I can't possibly do more work. It doesn't have to be you. This feedback does not necessarily have to be you. Okay? Teacher can comment on student work, but if you have these gigantic classes, that's really hard to comment on everybody's work. You can't possibly do it, but you can still do formative assessment. They can do peer feedback. You work together, then I show you the answer here, and then together you work out, you find it out. Okay? Or the student can do a self-assessment. You can put a little low stakes quiz somewhere. They take it and they say, oh, okay. Nobody else sees it but them, but they find out. Okay? It doesn't have to be you giving the feedback. The point is the students need to know during the course of the course, either they're on track or they're off track. So that's all it is. It's just, am I on track for this semester? Very different from when I was in university a long time ago. I didn't know anything until after the midterm. And then I didn't know anything until after the final. Nothing. Just like, oh, so this is the difference. And it's really helpful. Okay. Nothing major with your partner. However, why do professors not want to implement or do formative assessment? I'm here to tell you it's really super easy and blah, 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 blah. Maybe you've learned about it before, but just in your own minds, why do you think teachers don't want to? And I feel you. I know. So just see if you can come up with 3, 2, 1. Just talk to your partner. What do you think? And see if you can check. There's no real right or wrong on this. Lack of knowledge or training. It's like, well, I heard about formative assessment, but I don't know what you're supposed to do. All right. But you're here. So, no excuses now. 2, you have a very full curriculum. You have pressure to cover all your material. I don't have 1 second more to do formative assessment. Anybody say that? Okay. And sort of saying is number 2. Heavy workload. So I'm here to tell you how to do it and to promise you it's super easy. Right? Are you excited? Your excitement is going. All right, so just do a couple a week. You don't have to do one every 5 minutes in your class. And that's crazy. That's just crazy. You have to teach first. Okay. Formative assessment isn't teaching. It's after the input to make sure that they got the input and they can create output. All right. So you've got to give the input. So start small, 1 activity a week. All right. Share the results. Share the results with your class. Maybe if you did something on Mentimeter or something, you can say, hey, look, 87% of you had the right answer there. Okay, that makes you feel good if you're part of that 87. If you're not part of that 87%, you think, oh, I need to do something about it. So share the results with that. And use peer and tech tools to reduce the marking load. Use these tech tools if you want to, or use these nothing tools, okay? Use peers so you don't have to. You've already given the input, all right? Let them work together. And really, truly, as a student, don't you feel good when you're working with another student? You kind of know the answer. Like, I'll teach you. I know. All right. So it's confidence boosting. But you always have to go over it afterwards and make sure that that one who was teaching it was actually teaching it and not doing something completely crazy. But it's basically a mindset. Okay. It's something easy to do, put it in the class. So let's build our toolbox. You are going to be walking out of here with so many tools in your toolbox, you won't even be able to carry it out. Okay, we're going to do formative assessment tools. Super easy. Some are online, some are not. Some are ones you've already heard about. Let's talk about some of them here. So digital options. Kahoot, everyone knows Kahoot. People don't like Kahoot so much anymore because now they make you pay money. All right. So, sorry, but they do. Mentimeter, we've used here with the thing, and we're going to use it later on today too. Are any of you not familiar with Mentimeter and some of the things it can do? You got to pay. You got to pay and play. Yeah. It's nice though because you can do big groups with them. You can do polls. You can do true and false answers. You can do open-ended answers. It's really good. Quiz is now called Playground or Wayground. I still call it Quizzes. They have all sorts of different things on those. You might want to check those out. Different things you can give to your class. You can put a little quiz in there, send it out to them. They can do that. It takes the information for you, and you can see how everybody did. Students really like using these digital things. They do. Okay. This is for Padlet. I don't know if you know Padlet. Padlet has 3 free ones. So you can use those 3 free ones over and over again. It's like this gigantic whiteboard thing. Students can put answers there. And then when you're done with that one, you can erase that one and use that same free one over and over and over again. You only get 3 free ones, but they're there. If you haven't checked out any of these, and this one, I love Edpuzzle, and I'm always telling people to use this. As far as I know, it's still free. You can put a video in there. Upload a video. That's a whole nother workshop that I do about how to do videos. Upload part of a video, not this whole 3-hour video. A short video, and you can work with it and stop it and put questions in. And the students have to answer the questions before they can go forward with the video. And then you can get all the results back through that because you kind of make a class. And you assign this video, they watch it, and da-da-da-da. So that's a really good one too. So these are all digital ones. There's probably a million other ones. They are businesses. Sorry, they have figured out how to ask for money. 15 years ago when these were all starting, they didn't know how to ask for money, so they were all free. But unfortunately, they figured out that they can do that. So, but they are out there. You can always use Google Forms and different things like that. So think of some way to reach all of your students to get some sort of information. For big classes, you don't need to know which students exactly. You just need to know in general. Yes, 60% did, 40% didn't, something like that, to help you gauge what you're going to do next. So those are some digital options. Am I leaving out any that are very popular here? Would anybody like to share anything? School of Technology doesn't have any more digital ones that I share with me? No? Okay. Slido. Okay, Slido. Can you tell us what do you like Slido?
I use it in my class. It also includes features that are probably very similar to Mentimeter. So word clouds and multiple choice, polls.
And polls. Okay, so Slido. And is it free?
I think so. I'm only using the free version, so
Go on, it's still free. Anybody else? So Slido, right? I think there's also something called Slides Go. There's a lot out there. So Google search that. Your students will like them. And again, you don't have to use them all the time. All right, so those are digital options. Oh, I'm going backwards again. So those are digital options. And here are some tried and true. I don't know if you know this expression, tried and true. These are like very used formative assessment. Okay. So I think when you look up there might be some that you're very familiar with, especially think, pair, share. Okay. Is there anyone in this classroom who has not heard of think, pair, share? Everybody. To tell you the truth, first of all, I think it's overused. And second of all, I think it's not used correctly. Okay. So if you think about how some teachers use think, pair, share, they say, okay, talk together. Next. Da, 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 da. Okay. So think, pair, share is a great thing if used correctly. And the main word there is think. So give your students some time to think. Or tell your students to write it down first. And don't tell them they're going to pair and share yet. Just tell them to think and write it down. Then add on the pair. They find somebody, then you add on the share. But don't just say, oh, think, pair, share. Okay, you have 5 seconds. Okay, next, we're doing this. Okay, so think, pair, share can be useful, but you need that think part. Just a couple here. Whiteboards. You can use them for what? We just did something like that. You can also use them for, if you just want to do a question really quick, you can do multiple choice questions up here. So you can have a multiple choice questions. A, B, or C are the answers. And they have to write A, B, or C on their paper and just hold it up. You don't need Kahoot. You don't need anything. Okay? They can just be your regular questions. And then you could look around. If everybody has different answers, and you know, okay, they're quite all have it. All right, you could do multiple choices. You can do true or false on the whiteboards easily, true or false. You can do true or false physically. You don't even need whiteboards. If it just comes to you in a class like, oh, I don't think they understand. All right, I'm going to do a true or false thing right now. But you don't want to say true or false because 3 or 4 people will yell out true, or that people yell out false, and you're just like, I don't know who's doing what. So you can teach them. You can say, if it's true, stand up. Okay. Or if it's false, stay seated. Or you could show them the alphabet in the language. If it's true, make a true T with the alphabet sign language. And if it's false, make an F. Okay. And so they're sitting there. And it's kind of fun for them. They have to do a T or they have to do an F, and you can look around and see if it's true or false. Okay. Or if you don't want them to cheat and look at their neighbors, if their neighbors are doing true or false, you can say, okay, keep your eyes open if it's true, and close your eyes if it's false. Okay, so you can do all sorts of different things. It's so easy. Anything that comes to mind, if you have them physically do it, that's always fun for them too. Okay, it's much more engaging when you have to do something. Or they can stand up and make a T, or sometimes make an F, I don't know. You can have them do anything you can think of. All right. Okay, so that's true or false. You can have them write their answers here, and then their partners have to check the answers. So you're the student and then the teacher. Okay, so they get to mark it, and you don't have to. Isn't that great? All right. The 1 minute paper does require teacher stuff. After we do this, you say, okay, please write a 1 minute paper afterwards, and they leave it with you. And that means that you have to look at it later, just to get the ideas. But if you want them to summarize something, just 1 minute paper, and then you can collect them and look at that. This is just showing with your hands if they understand. Instead of saying, do you understand this concept? They can sort of evaluate how much they understand. So a fist would mean I don't understand at all. 1, I still need help. 2, I need more practice. 3, I understand pretty well. 4, I mostly understand. And 5, I completely understand it. But to tell you the truth, guess what number you usually get? 5. You usually get 5. And they're like, okay, good. Everybody understands it. It's almost the same, I think, as saying, does everybody understand? Very good. All right. So these are just some tried and true. I don't want to spend any time here. I want to spend some time doing some new ones for you. Okay? Because these are old and we've done these. You ready for some new ones? No. Are you ready for some new ones?
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes.
Are you ready for some new ones?
Yes.
Definitely. I got it. Okay. So you want to switch it up. You don't want to use the same, you don't want to say think, pair, share, because your students will say, oh, think, pair, share again. All right. You want to switch it up. Okay. And doing different ways will reach your diverse learners. Okay. And as you know, we all learn in different ways. Okay. And it encourages flexible thinking. We're always trying to make our students a little bit more creative thinkers. And it keeps your feedback fresher. And if you do it in different ways, the feedback you get will be in lots of different ways too. It's not always the same thing. So switch it up. So let's learn some different ways that maybe you could choose that would be useful for you. All right. So you guys are going to do this. You know this little whiteboard you have? Okay. So we're going to do a couple of new formative assessments. All right. That maybe are new for you. And you're going to do them on your whiteboard right there. Okay. So these are all about formative assessment. This one is called do's and don'ts. So I want you to think of your own course, how you might use this after you've given the input. I'm using it for formative assessment. So I want you to list 3, let's just do 2 here. Okay. 2 do's and 2 don'ts about formative assessment in a university classroom. You're giving 2 do's to a teacher and 2 don'ts about formative assessment. Okay, so write those on your whiteboard. Think together. It looks like you're a lonely person here. Maybe you could come join him and you guys could work together. I have a new partner for you. Would you mind moving over here? He lost his partner. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, very quickly, 2 do's and 2 don'ts. You're going to meet a new teacher and you want to tell them 2 do's and 2 don'ts about formative assessment. Okay, I'm going to show you my examples. They don't have to be your examples. Okay. Do's could be give timely feedback, align with your learning outcomes, and keep it low stakes. Okay, see you later. Mm-hmm. And don't use it for grading. These are not for grading. Remember, it's not evaluative. Don't ignore the student's feedback. That means if you got it wrong, don't ignore that. Oh, he got it right, but he didn't, so I'm not. Okay. And don't make it time consuming. I think a lot of you put that as easy, simple time. All right. So everybody's happy with that? So those are do's and don'ts. Everything we do here, try to imagine it in your own classroom, please. Very quickly. Common misunderstandings. You can either do it about formative assessment. What are some common misunderstandings? Just think of one common misunderstanding. We already talked about this. In your own class, you might think of what's a common misconception about something you're teaching. Because if they understand that it's a misconception, they know that it's the wrong way. So just write down one common misconception about formative assessment. One common misconception. These are some misconceptions that I thought of. It takes too much class time. It doesn't. Okay. It's not useful for higher education. Some people think, oh, this is only for elementary school. No. It's not for elementary school. It's for education. All right. And it's only for grading. It's not for grading. Okay. Not at all. Not at all. Okay. Let's try another one. It's called the yes, no. On the left, list what you understand about formative assessment. On the right, list what you still find confusing. Okay, I'm not going to make you do this, but I want you, instead of doing this for formative assessment, I would like for you just to think of your own class. What could you ask for this yes, no here? Okay, yes, no. All right. So I'm just going to show you this because I want to do another one together with you. It helps guide instruction, so I understand that it helps guide instruction. Know how to design good formative questions for large classes. Is that still anybody's problem here? Large classes are always an issue, and we have those large ones here at the university. So you've got to think about what you can do. You can't do individual so much, but you can do lots of things where they can just show you with their body. They can stand up, they can sit down, anything where you can get a gauge. Okay? You get a gauge, and they also get a gauge. They understand if they are on track or not. All right, so this is the yes-no chart. 3 questions. Ask 3 important questions about formative assessment. And ask a partner. Okay, and ask a partner. So think of 3 important, you are now an expert on formative assessment. You are going to turn to your partner and ask 3 very important questions about formative assessment. Okay? See if your partner knows. You are now the expert. Ask your partner 3 questions about formative assessment. Ask 1 at least. Okay. So, wrong way. What kinds of feedback are most effective? How often should it be used? Can technology make it easier? Right, so those are some questions about it. And if you can answer those or think about those, then you're learning about this. Explain what matters. So this is big picture stuff. So turn to your partner and explain why formative assessment matters to effective teaching. Very quickly, why does it matter? And think about your own class. What question could you ask here for the big picture? Okay? The big picture. This is what matters in this. And so one example could be formative assessment provides real-time insight into student learning so teachers can adjust their instruction before final evaluations. It turns assessment into a tool for growth rather than judgment. Okay? So if you were thinking about if my students told me this about formative assessment, I would think, yes, they get it. Okay? Parking lot. I love parking lot. So if you could take a sticky note. You guys take a sticky note and just take a sticky note. And what you do with sticky notes is you have a parking lot, and we could say right here, this is my parking lot. You don't really have to do it, but I brought the sticky notes in case you wanted to, because I'm going to check it afterwards. So this is my parking lot. This is the end of class, almost. It's almost the end of class. And I want my students to write a question that something is still unclear. I don't know who wrote it. Okay, they're just going to walk out of class and they're just going to leave it right here. Okay, after class, I can collect all of these. I can look at them and it gives me a good idea. So you don't really take up your class time doing it. But you have to address it. So the next time say, last night I got 4 or 5 questions about this. Let's talk about that. Students really like this because it's anonymous. So many students do not want to raise their hand and say, I don't understand. Or they don't know how to quite ask the question. Or maybe they don't, these are EMI courses. English isn't their language. The fact that they're going to stand up and speak English in front of that whole group, For some people, that's just too much. It's too overwhelmingly scary. So, but they have questions, and maybe they're afraid to come up to you, the professor, because you're busy leaving the classroom, and they're busy leaving the classroom. Everybody's in a hurry, and they think, oh. But you want them to ask the question while they have the question. So this is a super easy, great way. Sticky notes, write a question, leave it on the board. Okay? And then you can collect them, and you can just anonymously do that. Very nice way to do it, and students react to that. And maybe their question, again, it's going to be in English, and if you are Mandarin speakers and some of your students are Mandarin speakers, they could even write it in Mandarin for you if they wanted to. At least you would know what their question was. All right, so, all right. Do you like the parking lot one? If you have any questions, you can take your sticky note, leave it up here at the end of the class. That's our parking lot. Okay? And I will address them somehow. Somehow I will address them with you. But that's just the idea. The anonymity of it is very, 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 very important. All right. I got so excited about my sticky notes that I This should say spur of the moment. How can I use formative assessment quickly on the spur of the moment? If somebody wrote that to me, I would say, oh, just have them stand up, sit down, say true, false with their hands, like we already talked about. You can do it. It's so nice because you don't have to plan for it the day before. You can think of it, you all look confused. Let's do one right now about what I just gave the input. All right. And this one I do want you to do. On your whiteboards, make a Venn diagram and compare formative and summative assessment. How are they alike? How are they different? Okay, these are 90-second things. So you have 90 seconds to come up with your Venn diagram. Yours is going to be a solo event. Okay? So make a Venn diagram, write a couple words in for formative and summative, and see if you can compare and contrast the differences. Okay, and I have some up here. A lot of you wrote these. All right, so give yourself a pat on the back if you had something similar to this. Everybody knows if you had something like this. And I hope when we were doing all of these on formative assessment, you're thinking actually for your own class what you could do something like this for. All right, quick, easy, excellent. All right, another partner activity very quickly, another metaphor. Remember the soup? Okay, this is now about GPS. So I want you to think, those intelligent brains, we've got a lot of intelligent brains in here today. Think about how formative assessment is similar to the GPS in your car. Do all of you use GPS? Yeah? Okay. Do you believe it no matter what it says? No? You always hear those crazy stories about people driving off the road. And, well, let's pretend we really trust our GPS, okay? So just think, if you can think. So how is GPS and formative assessment the same as far as real-time feedback comes at? Okay, think of your GPS. Does it give you real-time feedback? Okay, we hope it gives us real-time feedback. Otherwise, you will be like, oh, 10 minutes ago I was, you know. And formative assessment, real-time feedback? Yeah, okay, so let's see that. Just like GPS updates your route as you drive, formative assessment provides ongoing feedback. Okay? All right, so I gave you that answer. You're going to do the next one, right? Course correction. Okay, think about GPS. Does it correct you if you do something wrong? And formative assessment? Okay, I'm spoon feeding you these answers. Okay. If a student veers off track, formative assessment helps redirect them, and GPS recalculates when you miss a turn. All right, thank goodness. Mine always says recalculating. All right, this one, I'm not going to do it. Turn to your partner. How is GPS like formative assessment? In clear destination. What's your clear destination in your class? The learning objectives. Yes, okay. And in your GPS, do you have a destination? I hope so. Why are you using it otherwise, okay? All right, very good. And personalized guidance, that's our feedback for this group of students or that group of students who didn't get the answer right. So just like GPS adapts your location and route, formative assessment adapts to each student's needs and progress. All right, so you like that metaphor? I absolutely like it. Let's do one more and then we're almost done. Okay. So just some things for you to remember. I'm not going to read them to you. I know you all can read. Number 3 is the big one. Please let your students do some of the work. It's not you. You're giving them some of the help, but let them do it. Okay. And EMI formative assessment is for language and content support, not just English. And this is our final summative, formative assessment that we're going to do. Please go back here and you're going to write a 1-sentence summary in English about formative assessment. A 1-sentence summary about formative assessment.
The letters.
Hmm?
The letters are limited.
The letters are limited?
Yes.
Open-ended? Yeah, open-ended. How many letters? We had this trouble last time. How much is it limited in Q2? It's very limited? Okay. Forget this. Forget it. Forget this. Forget this. See that whiteboard in front of you? 1-sentence summary. Just use your whiteboard because this is too limiting. I apologize for not knowing that. I want to see these beautiful sentences. A summary of all of this. Can you state it in 1 sentence? And be ready to share. And in your groups, if you have been making one person write the whole time, make the other person write. 1-sentence summary. It is. Just in case. Beautiful handwriting. Excellent. Very nice. Good. What? Oh, some of them are up here. You put yours up here. Okay. Okay, we have some digital and some whiteboard, which is perfect. Okay. So thanks. That's a great summary. I love it. Thanks. Real-time feedback to adapt the teaching, yes. Real-time feedback to adjust teaching strategies for students who come from diverse backgrounds, very good. A way to help the teachers and students grow, absolutely. Timely feedback, low-stake assessment. I love the word low stakes. Real-time feedback to adapt the teaching, excellent. All right, so I'm going to show you what not to do in your class. Do not say to your class, who wants to share their sentence? What will happen if I ask the class, who wants to share their sentence? No one wants to share. No one wants to share. So what you can do, I always say my classroom is not a democracy. Okay? It is not a democracy. I am in charge of my classroom. All right? So, sorry, it's not a democracy. So instead of saying, who wants to share, I would probably just go, all right, this group, could you please share? And then you would stand up and you would share. Ready?
We think that is useful to get feedback from students about the class.
It is useful to get feedback from students for class. All right, thank you for sharing. All right, see, and he didn't faint, he didn't fall down, he didn't anything. He'll do it. Your students just need you to hand them the mic. Oh, is yours up here?
Yeah.
Yours is up here. Yours is up there. You have to both play. I saw beautiful handwriting over here. First, I want to share the beautiful handwriting. Isn't it lovely? Okay. And I'm going to hand you my phone. So, it's off. You're sharing your sentence.
Okay, so you want me to read out loud? Because I'm also using EMI in my graduate course or undergraduate course for the programming courses like text mining. So I use a lot of R coding. So it's not possible for me. It's possible, but it's very difficult to set up almost summary assessment for students to test their idea about the sectionalization of the understanding of the coding.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So for me,
Can you do certain parts of the steps though?
Yes, I have to. So it's like sectionalization, block about the explanation of different sets of codes for different functions. So for me, formative assessment is definitely an important way. It's also like a dynamic mechanism for me to keep track of my students' understanding about their process of codes. Yeah, some of it, most of them may struggle, some of them are doing well, and then so dynamically speaking, I will ask those who are doing well to help those who fall behind. So it's very important for me.
I'm so glad that it is. I'm so glad that it is. And you reminded me of a very famous saying in English. To teach is to learn twice. So if you ask your students to teach another student, they are learning it a second time. So to teach is to learn twice. So use your students. And we're just going to have one more group. And I just want you to feel how a student feels when the teacher walks around and says, we're going to have one more group. And these ladies are getting a little bit nervous, like she might call on us. And these ladies are, ooh. And these guys are like, oh, I think we're good. I think we're good. And over here, they're like, oh, we're really good.
One sentence. Oh, okay. Originally we put as GPS is important for driving and getting us to the right destination. Formative assessment is equally crucial for teaching and learning. Then I figure out, then we just reckon that there might be another metaphor, which is doctor. Okay, because we're given diagnostic test as one type of formative assessment. Right? So it seems that we're given diagnostic test to see what students need, what we haven't done enough to help them learn. So
That's a wonderful
maybe
metaphor too.
doctor, yeah.
Well, thank you for saying that because I'm always trying to think of different metaphors to help people understand that. So I like that one as well. Good.
Sorry about you.
All right, so just at the very end here, so you all can take a deep breath. You didn't suffer too much. Thank you, Jefferson. All right, so we're at the end of our workshop today. First of all, before we go to this, I want you to turn to the people that you've been working with today and tell them thank you. And I hope everybody felt like they did a little bit of work in our workshop, and that you came out of here with at least one new thing today. And before we end, if you have any questions or comments or concerns, and you're not too shy to raise your hand, remember you have those sticky notes. I see a question here. Here we go.
Yeah, I want to know, since in our university we use Moodle, so I wonder if there are any tools or models that can actually do this.
Absolutely. Moodle has in it that you can build right in your course quiz questions and stuff. And it's not anonymous, so you would really know who did that. But you can make multiple choice questions. It's as a quiz. It's like a quiz, but it doesn't have to be a quiz. I mean, it would say quiz on it, but you could just use it for the students for no grade. You can put it in there, but you have to put it in there. So it's not quite as easy, but you could do it, assign it as homework in Moodle. I used to use Moodle for years and years and years, and we would do things in that. Okay. Any other Moodle suggestions for those of you using Moodle? They have it right there, built-in quiz. It's a little bit of a learning curve, how to input the information, but once you learn how to do it, it's very easy. They have a quiz function right in there. Moodle's great. It has a million things in it, but it just takes time to learn it. Any other questions?
Yeah.
You guys are great.
For the EMI course, if we find the problem is the language you get, a straightforward solution is to change in Chinese, teach in Chinese. So, there's nothing.
Two things about that. One, EMI courses, yes. And it's not wrong to use Chinese sometimes. It's not wrong. It's not wrong in any course. However, you need to think, not all of your students are Chinese speakers either. Because the EMI courses that I visited here, there's several students from other courses that they aren't English speakers, but they're also not Chinese speakers. So you've got to remember you want all of your students to be successful. So that's a different workshop. You need to do scaffolding workshop, okay? That's another workshop. So you do scaffolding so you can help with the English part of it, if that happens to be the problem. But never think that it's wrong. If it takes you 10 minutes to explain it in English and 1 second to say it in Chinese, and say it in Chinese, that's fine. But remember, you're not necessarily helping everybody there. Yeah, no, I understand that. I hear you. It's much easier. Thank you.
The same similar question is that because we are teaching students using EMI, as a medium, and formative assessment is a good way to to help the students, even though they do not know English clearly, they can still participate fully in the classroom activities. And so what I want to know is that what else techniques do we still lack that we can help the students to engage the students in a classroom, even though they have language problems. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, the question is, what else can you do to get your students engaged? Because a lot of them just sit there and don't do anything. And those are sort of the things that we are doing in here, sort of interactive right here, or just sometimes I'll put my students into pairs like this, so everybody feels safe in a pair, okay? And I could say, then I give the pair a role. The person closest to this wall, you ask the question, and the person closest to this wall answers the question, so they have something to do. Whenever you have them working together, make sure each person in the group has something to do. Otherwise, the strongest speaker or whatever will dominate the group, And the other ones who are already shy will still be shy. So definitely lots of group, small group where they're not so afraid. Small group interactions, everybody has a role. Switch it up. Remember, you're the teacher. If you don't want you sitting together, you go work with him, he goes work with him. It's not a democracy. It is not a democracy in your classroom. Just tell them they have to move, okay? You pair it up the way you want it, but give specific roles to everybody.
I think we can learn from the teachers who are teaching the students about the English for the kindergarten kids. Yeah, because the students do not know English at all, but they still can help them to learn English through the activities. So I think that's we should learn from them. Even the students do not know English, so they can still participate. Yeah.
So that's the whole point of the EMI training is to learn language teaching skills. Okay, even though none of you signed up to be English teachers, you're English teachers as well. So you need to use some of the English teaching strategies. And don't think just because they're university students that you can't do things that they do in elementary school. Students love it. I mean, did you guys like writing on the whiteboards? We like writing on the whiteboards. We like doing that. We like going up and sticking stuff on the thing. We like standing up. We like doing those kind of things. Don't think, oh, they're at university, they're too sophisticated. They're not sophisticated. We're all kids at heart. So anything you can think of that's engaging and will help them, use it. Try it. If it doesn't work, what's the worst thing? Try something else. Don't be afraid to try new stuff. Remember, your student success is your success. So, yeah. Any other questions? You all have been wonderful. I'm very happy to see all your smiling faces. And thank you for interacting today. And I hope to see you again in a future workshop. Thank you.